So there's a lot of hype on the internet where any random person can claim to be a genius trader. And if you just buy their trading course or buy their trading services, then immediately you can quit your job and start trading full time. It's even gotten to the point where any somewhat attractive Instagram influencer can just slap together an options trading course, make some big claims about being able to quit your job and be your own boss, and then just sling it to their followers for a quick buck. And so my goal in this video is not to discourage anybody from pursuing trading or investing, because these things really can be very fun and rewarding professions once you do figure things out. But I do also want to help people manage their expectations. And unfortunately, I have to say that it is simply not realistic to just buy somebody's trading course online and then with a few $1,000s to expect to start making a full-time income out of trading. It is just not going to happen. And so in this video, I'm going to use some very basic math to prove that fact, and then also provide you with a much more realistic number, a much more realistic amount of capital that you would need to potentially make a full-time income from trading. Now, as always, before we dive in here, in case this is the first video of mine you've come across, my name is Scott Reese, and welcome to my channel where I'm here to help you learn how to trade, invest, and master your finances so you can apply that knowledge in the real world and multiply your money. Okay, so let's get started here. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is basically walk you through a series of logical steps that will help you figure out how much money you'll actually need to generate a full-time income just from trading. Now, the first step is to figure out your average cost of living, because based on that number, that is going to dictate how much money you need to generate in profit every month or every year. So for example, let's say your average monthly expenditures are $3,000 a month. Obviously, this number can vary quite wildly depending on your situation or your responsibilities, but I think your average monthly expenditure being about $3,000 a month is a pretty reasonable number for most people. And of course, I'm assuming you're not living the fake guru trading lifestyle of just Lambos and mansions. Obviously, that lifestyle is going to be a bit more expensive. So if you spend $3,000 a month just on living expenses, then on an annualized rate, that's $36,000 a year. And just to make the math a bit easy and to allow for some cushion, let's round that up to $40,000. Right? Maybe you have a couple emergencies throughout the year, perhaps your car breaks down, and that's going to cost a few $1,000s in repairs that you wouldn't normally spend every month. So again, just to be safe, to be a bit conservative, let's say your total annualized cost of living is $40,000. And so there you go. That means if you just want to barely scrape by every month or every year, that means you have to generate a $40,000 profit after taxes. Don't forget your taxes. So in reality, your actual profit's going to have to be somewhere around $50,000, because if that's your full income, 50 grand, your federal income tax is going to be about 22% or so. Again, we'll round down, make the math a bit easy, and we'll say a flat 20% as your federal income tax. So again, based on that, if you generate a pre-tax profit in one full year of $50,000, that means after tax, removing 20%, you're left over with exactly $40,000. Okay, so at this point, we have now figured out the exact amount of profit that you must generate every single year to just barely scrape by. But how much total capital will you need to reliably and consistently generate $50,000 of profit? Now, obviously, your annualized return from your trading is going to depend a lot on the strategy you're using and also your skill set and experience as a trader. So let's say you are an experienced trader, you've got a few years under your belt, and on average, let's say your average annual return is 25%. Now, for some, this might seem like a rather small number. For others, this might be a bit large, because a 25% return in a year is more than doubling the average market return. But I personally do think 25 to 30% is a reasonable target to shoot for. And also keep in mind, these online trading gurus claim to make huge profits, huge returns all the time. So in actuality, 25% might be pretty darn conservative. So ultimately, that means if you want to generate a 25% return, that equals $50,000, you must have $200,000 of capital to trade with. And the way you figure that is simply by taking $50,000 and dividing it by 0.25. You'll get $200,000. And again, don't forget, this is just to figure out how much money you need to just barely scrape by every single month. You are literally spending exactly what you're making, and that's it. So therefore, in order to be more realistic, let's say now you take your annual profits every year and you cut it in half. Half the profits go towards covering your expenses. The other half of the profits go back into your account. And the reason for doing this is twofold. One, what happens if you have a very bad year at some point? You might start with $200,000, but what happens if you lose 30 grand in one year? Now you have to generate an even larger return just to keep making the same $50,000. So having some spare capital to cover spontaneous, very large losses is crucial. And then also with inflation, your cost of living is going to increase over time as well. This year, it might be $40,000, but next year, your rent, for example, is probably going to go up along with your other bills. So next year, your total expenditures might be $42,000 or $43,000, and then so on and so forth with time. And then actually one more reason I forgot, and that is if you actually do want your account to grow over time, then you must put some of your profits away every month and every year. You have no choice but to do this. So now if we're taking the approach of half of our profits are going to be spent on living expenses and the other half are going back into the account, that means we now must generate double the profit, not $50,000, but $100,000. And again, if we're assuming here you're able to generate a 25% return on average, then that means a 25% return, which equals $100,000, you must have $400,000 of capital to trade with. Everything just doubles. And personally, I think this number, roughly $400,000 or so, this is definitely a lot more realistic and something that you could shoot for if you also want to live a pretty average lifestyle. Again, this is all based on you spending only $3,000 a month. That's it. So you're not buying Lambos, you're not buying mansions like the other trading gurus out there. You're living a very average but comfortable life. And so there you have it. I hope I did not discourage you too much from pursuing trading or investing. Again, I'm just trying to help you manage your expectations because unlike what you'll find on Instagram or pretty much anywhere on the internet, it is simply not realistic to just buy somebody's course and then with a few $1,000 starting to trade full time. It's a very attractive and enticing dream that does sell very well, I will admit that, but it will always just remain a dream and nothing more. And so with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know your thoughts or if you have questions in the comment section below. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I drop new videos every single week, and you don't want to miss out. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.